Hi, so it's been quite a while since I've posted anything. I have to be honest, I've taken a bit of a couple month hiatus because the meta just wasn't feeling right for me. And I just didn't quite gel with Purely, which was my last deck profile that I did from my very last locals. But since then, a lot has happened, and as you can see, we went to Comic-Con in London and got this gorgeous two-player playmat when you spend £35 or more at the Comic-Con, and I just had to get it because Yusei is one of my favourite protagonists, and I just love all the dragons in 5Ds, especially Stardust over here, so I just had to. And we got a box of the new 25th anniversary Rarity Collection at our locals just, I think, 2 days ago, which was super hype. And here is just a selection of some of the stuff we pulled. I actually got this QCR Albaz from my single prize pack because I came 10th, go me. And also in the same pack, this, I believe, Collector's Rare Nibiru. And then I got some other stuff. So this is the new ulti, I think. This is the Lone Fire Blossom, which is going to go in my Rika deck. And then a cute little jackalope, and that's a CR as well. We also managed to pull 3 ashes in the same box, albeit no QCR, but I think we got, some really nice ones there. So as you can see, I've got a new deck below, and you can see that VS Razen is right on top. So this is what I took to the Rarity Collection locals, and I have to say I had a blast with it. My fiance suggested that I try something a little bit different if Purely wasn't gelling with me, and so here's the product. So I will go through the main deck first really quickly. I assume you guys probably know what VS is all about. It's all about sort of fighting games. I think of it as like revealing attributes is like you've got to push the buttons right, you've got to push the combo buttons in the right order to get them move out. And you're tagging things in and out. So I'm a huge Tekken fan. So I was super hype about Tekken 8 at Comic-Con, but that's another story. And it's like kind of like Tekken Tag Team in my eyes. But anyway, so I got a little bit of help from online, just seeing what other people have been making, and some help as well with ratios from my fiance, which is always really helpful. So 3 of the Razen, 3 of the Heavy Borga, 2 on the Mad Love, because she's not actually that great to start with. She does search your spell and trap, but Razen's the one that searches you a non-warrior VS, I believe. Dialong is a level 5. I think you can special summon him when you reveal, or if you reveal an attribute for any of the others, so he can be a free body on the field. He's pretty chunky at 2/4, just 1 Pantera and 1 of the big boy Caesar Valius. 3 Stake Your Soul. It's like a free special summon. Continue to get Razen back from the graveyard to the hand after you've linked off for Rock of the Vanquisher. And then the VS specific spells and traps. So Dust Devil, which is kind of like a Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse kind of situation. You just, I think you can change your opponent's monsters to face down defense. And Snow Devil, which is crazy because each of its effects is actually cumulative. So this deck is also fantastic because it's great on burn damage, and I find that a lot of my games actually go to time from all of the disruption that I've been doing with this deck. And then now we go into the sort of other monsters section. So I've got like hand traps, so Ash. I got a small Kashtira package. Rice Heart is in there because he's a really good one to reveal, to search as part of Stake Your Soul to get your Razen. 2 Crow, 2 Ghost Spell, and you'll see that everything is Earth, Fire, and Dark here because you want that to activate your VS monster effects. And then I've got spells, so Arota to search Razen, Infernoble Arms, Durenzal, same thing. Just want to point out, we pulled this as well. Super nice Platinum Secret Rare. I know it's not everyone's most popular rarity, but I think it really suits this card because it just takes me right back to like, is it 2014 or something like that, when Knights of the Noble Table came out and they had plat rares in there. So it's just a really nice throwback to that. My MP22 prosps, I'm not going to upgrade them because I'm pretty happy with those already. 3 there can only be 1s, works really well with this deck because everything is different. But I will talk about that in my matchups. And then of course 3 Emperor, which I absolutely love. One of my favourite traps, great going first, great going second. I do also have a side deck as well. You can see I've got Triple Tactics Thrust, Talons, 1 Duster, 1 Dark Ruler, 2 Ulti Slayer, which because you don't really need the extra deck very much if you play VS, 3 D Barrier because we've got a lot of branded at our locals, branded Chimera especially. I just put 2 Phantasmium, but I didn't really get to use it, and then there's the 3rd Crow and Bell. So that's side. Extra deck, got to play 3 Rock of the Vanquisher. Unfortunately, I realised you cannot link off using this card. It can't be used as link material, so I think I may have possibly gone into SP Little Knight, which I borrowed from a friend a bit illegally at some point, but that's just a learning point for me. I've got a small Zeus package, so Chakanine, Borbo, Zeus. The new Superstar Slayer Typhon, which I think is really awesome. Your opponent just has to have special summon 2 things from the extra deck previous turn, and you can slap it on your highest attack monster, which is great. And then don't forget the very last line, you can attach 1 material from this card, and then you get a non-targeting return any monster from the field to the hand, which is, I think, really, really good. Non-targeting bounce is pretty awesome. IP, just I thought, you know, link stuff off if people corrupt Ibli me, Nightmare Phoenix as well, kind of that sort of vibe. And then these are purely extra deck sends, these 2 for the Ulti Slayer on my side. And then just Dweller and Baguska because they're good rank 4s, and you can go into rank 4s with this deck fairly easy. So that's just a very brief explanation of what I've got in my deck. So without further ado, let's talk about my matchups. So I had 3 matchups which were all really interesting. So my first one was actually branded Chimera. That was a really funny one because TC Boo doesn't actually do much against branded Chimera because they've got all sorts, Winged Beast, Beast, Fairy, Dragon. So TC Boo is not great. So that was a little bit unfortunate. It was quite a grindy game because I think I went to SP and I just hung on to that for quite a while. They have so much gas, and I think I just need to learn which targets to go for with the Chimera matchup. I think there's the little Mirror Sword Force monster that keeps bringing itself back from the graveyard. That's the one that you need to deal with. And then I think that's the big Wing Performer you need to impound to stop them searching for. I think it's a level 4 Winged Beast or something from the deck, because I think they really stopped going from there. So I think that would be my biggest takeaway, just learning the targets in that matchup. But yeah, I think that one went into time because I wasn't still used to this deck. Second matchup, I think I went against actually Phantom Knights, which is really interesting because they are indeed susceptible to TC Boo. Because they are all, I believe, warriors. But my opponent played around it really well and went into, I think he had a warrior, and I think he put a psychic, like something Psychic Wielder, which is another level 3, so it was psychic, and then he Xy'd into Levier, which I think is a Dragon Winged Beast, I can't remember. And then he detached to bring back one of his Phantom Knight stuff. So he played around that super well, so I was really impressed. It did fairly well against it, but I did get Dark Ruler no moored after I set up a really cool board. And then the third game was against Mannadium. I think, once again, unfortunately, TC Boo is not great because they have a lot of varied things because they use stuff from the Scareclaw package. They have a bit of Kashtira going on, especially with the Scareclaw. Yeah, so that was not great also. So I think I sided out that a lot. It has so much gas, so I think my main win con, just to summarize, is like keep interrupting and burn them. That's the main thing. Like, I think the main learning points for me are trying to use heavy Borga like as it's coming to time, so you can basically burn them for 1500 if you've got like an Earth and Fire in your hand, which you easily will do, and then do it again on their turn. So you do 3000, and potentially if you've got Snow Devil on the field, that's another cumulative, so 400 plus 600, 1000 plus 800, that's 1.8. So 1.8 plus 3 is already 4.8 that they're down. I think the point where you search for a VS spell or trap is really important, because I guess it depends what your priority is. So often the standard combo will be I believe it's a Razen, normal summon, and then you search for the Mad Love, and you'll link off the Razen into Rock of the Vanquisher. And then you use Rock of the Vanquisher to special summon the Mad Love from your hand. When Mad Love is special summoned, you get to add 1 VS spell or trap. Now, here is like where you pick, because another advantage of this deck is that you can easily be nib safe. You can stay below 5 summons, and I think typically you can stop at 4. I'll just show you how. But at this point, you just want to think what your matchup is against with your opponent. Continue's great if you want to pay 500 life points and get the Soul Razan back to your hand, because this guy, you can use Rock of the Vanquisher on your opponent's turn to special summon him to any column. And then you'll see that his second effect is to reveal Fire in the Dark, and then it can destroy all other monsters in the card's column. So you can just destroy their normal summon and they're kind of done if they're, you know, a very link-based deck, or if they don't have much extension going forwards. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, you can just go leave him in the graveyard and you can go for a Soulless Devil. For example, if you know that your opponent is not a fusion deck, if they're like, say, a synchro deck, or if they, synchro deck, or, you know, or even VS actually, you just flip all their stuff face down. It's like a Book of Eclipse. And the funny thing is, I actually got Book of Eclipse going against Mannadium, and I did not have an Ash to stop it, and it just turns off all your stuff when it flips face down. So all I was left with was a Rock of the Vanquisher, which was suboptimal. So I think depending on your matchup, or if you're going to time, you can search the Snow Devil. Think carefully about which one you want to choose. So already you can see that was 1 summon, 2 summons, 3 summons. And then at this point, it just depends what you've drawn in your hand. If you've got a heavy Borger, you know, that's fantastic. You just reveal him in your hand, tag Mad Love out, plonk him on the field. And if it's early games, you can go for card draw by revealing Dark, which is perfect because you'll have the Mad Love in your hand. And if you happen to have Earth and Fire, then you can burn them for 1500. And then I would leave them on the field until next turn. So you could draw 1 on your turn and draw 1 on their turn, or you could burn 1, you know, any combination you want really, depending what you have. So you stop at 4 summons. And you're very nib safe. I think sometimes it's good not to get too greedy with this deck. This deck is not really a combo deck, and I guess that's why I love it too, because I don't think it takes big brain in terms of combo lines, but I think it does take very careful hand management and thinking about the order you are going to do things. In terms of searchers, your VS searches your non-warrior monster, your Mad Love will search your VS spell trap, and then your Dialong is actually amazing because if you reveal 2 fire, he will allow you to literally search any VS card. So depending on what you have in your hand, you can figure it out. And you always have to remember, okay, let's say I want to add a Caesar Valius to my hand and use him. When I tag him out, I'm like, okay, this symbol, this fire is going to come back in my hand, and I'm going to lose this earth, so I have to have another, say like earth in my hand in order to activate the destroy effect of Caesar Valius. So it's about advanced thinking and doing things in the correct order and remembering triggers as well, because often I just forgot to trigger Dialong, especially the one where he was like, if you reveal a card in your hand, you can just get him on the field for free. And I think the change the battle position of 1 monster in the field also got me one of my games against Mannadium, because they had Scareclaw Cash in defense mode, and I used the Dialong to turn into attack, so it's got 0 attack and it just went straight through. And I think they were maybe on like 1900 life points by time, so it was hard for them to catch up. So that was cool. What else? Yes, Kashtira package. I think it's really interesting because often if you open Fenrir, and then I'd search the Rise Heart if I had Stake Your Soul in my hand, because usually people will Fenrir search Fenrir, and you kind of know-ish that they're just running 3 Fenrirs as just a good staple. But if you Fenrir search Rise Heart, they're like, oh, maybe they're playing Kashtira. You know, so I think that's really interesting. There's just extra bodies on the board. I think that's another good thing about this deck. Sometimes if they don't manage to kill you quickly enough, you just end up spamming them with bodies, and it makes it quite hard for them to deal with. I think Eclipse is definitely a problem for this deck. If everything's flipped face down, that's not great. Targeting things are fine because you can dodge them as long as you've got a big boy in your hand, so one of these two, because they can tag out. Is fine, but yeah, Eclipse, so that I guess that's why the Ash is still just such a good staple in this deck. I really like the ratios. I didn't often feel like I didn't have what I needed in my hand. Prosperity was great to get the starter. Yeah, I think that's everything really I have to say at the moment. Basically, in summary, I had a great time, lots of fun playing this deck, getting used to it. I'm definitely going to take it to locals on Sunday. Hopefully I get to play a couple of good games. They have the new OTS 23 packs out, which I'm super excited about because I think the ultis are all really cool. Econ is such a classic, and Kurikara everybody is excited about. My fiance plays Labby, so it would be nice to get some ulti, I think it's big welcome upgrades. And I will have some interesting QCR upgrades hopefully to show you on my next video, because there's a particular card in the Rarity Collection which I think just looks absolutely amazing. Unfortunately we didn't manage to pull any of them, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So I hope you really enjoyed my latest video, and I hope to report on my next local soon. Bye!